Hello and welcome to Blockchain Silver, the place where we analyze what in the world is going on in crypto. Today we're going to talk about the Bitcoin to Litecoin ratio and how you can use it to tell when Bitcoin is expensive compared to Litecoin or Litecoin is cheap or expensive compared to Bitcoin. Warning, I am not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment purposes only. It is best to do your own due diligence, form your own conclusions, and invest based on your opinion of the market. Cryptocurrency markets are highly speculative and may lose value. Be safe out there. All right, here we've got the gold to silver ratio. This is a 100-year historical chart. So just like you can use the silver and gold ratio to tell when gold is expensive and silver is cheap, or silver is expensive and gold is cheap, you can do the same with Bitcoin and Litecoin. You can also use it to time market tops. So here, how we have really nice, smooth, clean lines, this is when we were on a gold standard. And what this is saying is that right here it took 97 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. And then down here, it would have been 17 ounces of silver, 17.73 to equal 1 ounce of gold. And that's derived from the price of silver relative to the price of gold. If gold was $1,000 and silver was $10, then that would be about 100 to 1 ratio. And so right around 1971, this is when we came off the gold standard. Then the free market decided what the prices were, and so that's why they're more, I don't want to use the word volatile, but more maybe etchy. And so on average, when the silver to gold ratio gets up here in the 70, 80, 90, or 100 to 1, this is saying that silver is cheap. When it gets down here, this is saying that silver is getting expensive relative to gold. And some of the bottoms here, 15 to 1, this was about the same, about 15 to 1. And so now we're going to look at Bitcoin and Litecoin. All right, so here the first one we're going to look at is April 1st, 2013. Bitcoin was at 107 and Litecoin was at 428, representing a 25 to 1 ratio. This is when Litecoin was getting expensive compared to Bitcoin. And I have to use some Coinbase charts, which these aren't the best, but it's getting harder to find data going farther back. So April 1st, 107 and 31 cents. Litecoin was $4.28 April 1st. And so you take these two numbers, you divide them, and it just gives you this 25 to 1. So just like how we looked at with gold, the silver to gold ratio, when it got down into the 15 to 1, that was when silver was getting expensive relative to gold. It works the same with Litecoin. So when Litecoin gets down into the 20s or the 30s, it's getting expensive compared to Bitcoin. So let's look at another one, November 28th, 2013. Now we can actually use a different chart for this one. Coinbase, this is a smoothed average. Whereas if we look on CoinMarketCap, we're going to look for the 28th. Was it the 28th? Yeah, the 28th. All right, so this is Bitcoin here. November 28th. What did I have? 1,023. So we go for 1,023. All right, so that exact price is not on here, but it's right around this area right here, November 28th. We look at Litecoin, November 28th, and that's how I derived it because this was a market top for Litecoin. So $53.08 on November 28th. Bitcoin, 1,050. I think I got 1,023. But you divide those two, you know, if we did 1,050, it would just increase us a little bit. And that puts us at a 19 to 1, 19.27 to 1 ratio. So it only took 19.27 Litecoins to equal 1 Bitcoin. So this was showing, again, that Litecoin was expensive compared to Bitcoin. And so just by looking at this Litecoin market top right there. So now we've looked at some times where Litecoin is expensive. Now we're going to look at some times where Litecoin was really cheap compared to Bitcoin. And so this is the bottom of a bear market right here. Now we wouldn't have known this because at the time it looked like the market could have went lower. Who knows whether it did or didn't. We wouldn't have known at that time, but it ended up not going that much lower. And so we have Bitcoin at 33.96. So let's go back. And so now let's just move this to about right here. Let's move the Bitcoin one to about right there. Okay, so I've got it on December 11th. And so Bitcoin, December 11th, 34 and some change. Litecoin, December 11th, 2407. So I've got 2401, 3396. That gives us a 141 to 1 ratio. And so now what it's saying is that Litecoin was really cheap. So if you had Bitcoin at the time, when it gets cheap, that's a good time to go into Litecoin. When Litecoin is expensive, that's a good time to go back into Bitcoin. You can use these ratios to go back and forth. These aren't ratios where you got to check it every single day. You can check it once a week, once a month, depending on what kind of trader you are. Then we're going to look at another one here when it was really out of whack. March 27th, 2017. We'll just go to the Coinbase one. So March 27th, 2017. This is Bitcoin here. So 1,044 Litecoin. This was right before Litecoin, March 27th, 417. So this was right before Litecoin came to Coinbase. March 27th, we got Bitcoin at 1,044, Litecoin at 417. It was a 250 to 1 ratio. This was saying that Litecoin was way, way out of whack, that it was really, really cheap compared to Bitcoin. So if you had Bitcoin at the time, this would have been a good time to go into Litecoin. Then you maybe sit for 6 months or whatever. And if you do trade just based on these ratios, this is where you sit and wait for a long time. You don't just go in one day when it's 50 to 1 and then go out the next day when it's 45 to 1. You sit and wait for these extremes. This would have been a good time, or around this time, to go in from Bitcoin to go into Litecoin. Same thing, good time from Bitcoin to go into Litecoin. Then this communicates that it was a good time if you owned Litecoin to go back into Bitcoin. And so that's it for today. That's how you can use the Bitcoin Litecoin ratio, just like you can use the gold to silver ratio to go back and forth from gold to silver, and to go back and forth from Bitcoin to Litecoin to maximize your gains and your cryptocurrency holdings. So I want to thank you again for coming out to Blockchain Silver. If you feel free to like, share, comment, or subscribe. And always remember, the cryptocurrency markets, they're highly speculative, they're highly volatile. Be safe out there. I want to see everybody succeed. Thanks again.